You tapping in real quick. Something light, nothing major. Peace and blessings and all that. You know what I'm talking about? Hopefully everybody's Thursday kicked off properly. And you know, your week's going according to plan. You know what I'm talking about? Nothing too crazy about this video right here. We just gonna sit here and chop it up for a few minutes for what it's worth about some parlay options for this UFC fight night. Cejudo versus Song. Triple C versus the Kung Fu Kid. You know what I'm talking about? Let's go ahead and dive into it, man. Let's talk about these prelims real quick, man. We have a extra fight added. So now we have what? Seven prelims. 5 up on the main card. All money lines are available. So let's talk about these prelims real quick. For individuals, you know, that are on the side of these more significant favorites on the prelims to be the one to get the job done. Let's talk about it real quick. Obviously, Abdul Malik Mansour is the biggest favorite on the whole card at minus 1,000 is what I'm looking at right now. You know what I'm talking about? And if we continue to trend with the favorites, the more significantly so favorites on the prelims, that takes us to minus 295, Nurse Sultan, Razibov. That minus 1,000 wrapped up with that minus 295 gives us 2 legs. The 2 more significant favorites on the prelims at minus 215. But nobody's here for a minus 215. You understand what I'm saying to you? So continuing the trend, that would take us to Modestus. So let's go ahead because it ain't all about me and how I feel about that matchup. Now those 3, they bring you to minus 103. After Modestus, it's Javid at minus 275, and we finally find ourselves with a plus money number of plus 173. Abdul at minus 1,000, Nurse Sultan at minus 295. They gave us a, minus 2 something. We added Modestus as a third leg. That gave us minus 103. We added Javid. The 4 more significantly favored individuals on the prelims come together at plus 173. Continuing the trend and staying with the more significant favorites, that takes us to Ebo at minus 182. Now those 5 individuals, those 5 favorites, they come together in a 5-leg parlay at plus 323. You know what I'm talking about? And then Nikolai at minus 127, he's coming in as the next biggest favorite, right above Andre Philly. And what this gives you right now is this gives you 6 legs, all 6 favorites coming together at plus 656. So if you're anything like me, I'm pretty sure that fine-tuned the degenerate engine within you. When you hear 6 legs, all 6 favorites coming together at plus 656, it's so many 6s in that motherfucker, it just makes me want to drop 60 on that bitch. You know what I'm talking about? And see how fucking 66 on a motherfucker. You know what I'm talking about? 6 legs, all 6 favorites coming together in a 6-leg parlay at plus 656. I put $66 on it, and I get $433.21 back. Altogether, $499.21 back. If that's the route I want to take, I get the 433 plus the 66 investment. You know what I mean? But that's just me, and that's just the degenerate in me coming out to play. You know what I'm talking about? But that's what those 6 legs look like. All 6 favorites coming together at plus 656. Now, the next, if we go by money line, favorite would be Costa, because Costa is currently a minus 117 to Andre Philly's minus 107 at the book I'm looking at. And that would be a 7-card prelim clean sweep, all favorites, no dogs barking, at plus 1307. You know what I'm talking about? 7 legs, all 7 favorites, all on the prelims, all come together in a 7-leg parlay at plus 1307. That's a 7-leg prelim, all favorites, clean sweep, suggesting that no dogs bark. You know what I'm talking about? So that's what those favorites look like if, you were to wrap all of them up. Now, staying with the 6 favorites to come together at plus 656 and just getting to this one that's minus 107, minus 117. There's no plus money number there. It's so close to being an even pick 'em. Maybe you want to swap that one out. So maybe instead of having Costa as your 7th leg for all 7 favorites, 7-leg parlay at plus 1307, maybe you want to swap out Costa because you like the rest of them and put in Andre Philly. And that takes your 7 legs, all 7 favorites, in a 7-leg parlay at plus 1307 to 7 legs, 6 favorites, 1 ever so slight underdog that come together in a 7-leg parlay at plus 1367. But again, that's Abdul, that's Nursultan, that's Modestus, that's Javid, that's Ebo, Nikolai, and Andre as your 1 slight dog at plus 1367. Or, Andre does not have to be your slight dog. You can rock all favorites, and we know that comes at plus 1307. Now let's scrap all that. That's what all them favorites look like when you wrap them together. If you want action on Abdul, I believe Abdul to be a solid play. Obviously, that is what the money line suggests. That blue collar Nick Klein is going to come out here and get dusted the fuck off. It's kind of disrespectful, but because neither one of these individuals have really been up against a legitimate level of opposition for us to be arguing their statistics or the fact that this individual might come out here and justify this price tag because blue collar is just that much of a fucking bum. That is what this money line suggests, and I can't buy into that because, they have not been tested against a legitimate level of opposition, as I said many a time over, for any of this shit to really make sense to me, minus 1,000 and all that. But anyway, if we want action on Abdul, let's wrap Abdul up in there, 1 leg at minus 1,000. You know what I'm talking about? Now, me personally, I'm okay with Nursultan, 295, 2 legs at plus or at minus 215. You know what I'm talking about? I am not okay with Modestus. I am not okay with Javid. You know what I'm talking about? Not in any way, shape, form, or fashion. Me personally, I'm okay with Andre. You know what I mean? And those 3 legs come together for me at plus 186. I don't have to get 4 legs to get plus 173. I don't need the stress of Javid Basharat and Modestus Bukakis on my mind for plus 173. You know what I mean? Why have those 2 fights? Like, I'm okay with Abdul Malik Mansour. Not okay with the price tag, but I'm okay with him as a pick. So using him to start this foundation on the prelims at minus 1,000, well, we need to make that a bit better. So Nursultan, for me, is good to go. You know what I'm talking about? Those 2 legs, they come together at minus 215. You know what I mean? That's better than starting at a minus 1,000, That's better than a minus 1,000, putting that minus 295 with it and getting us to a minus 215. But, for me, that's not good enough. You know what I'm talking about? And I'm solid with Dre, man. I am solid with Andre, man. And those 3 legs come together at plus 186. That's 3 legs at plus 186 as opposed to 4 legs at plus 173. The 4th and 3rd leg being Modestus and Javid. That's just too stressful for me. I think Andre's solid. So I'll take those 3 at plus 186 for something like nothing major as opposed to those 4 at plus 173 because those 4 stress me out more than these 3. You know what I'm talking about? But that's me. So that's what those 3 look like. Abdul, Nursultan, and Andre. 3 legs at minus 186. 2 significant favors and 1 ever so slightly underdog. You know what I'm talking about? But let's take that fight up off of there. That fight might make some of y'all nervous, man. Maybe some of y'all are okay with, Nikolai, like I am. And that's another closely lined fight. So those 3 legs give you a plus money number of plus 164. You know what I'm talking about? And I personally am more comfortable. The money lines might not suggest it to most individuals, but me personally, I'm more comfortable. That's just me. I could be completely off. But I'm more comfortable with Nikolai and Andre as my 3rd and 4th leg. You know what I'm talking about? And then that's 3 favorites, 1 ever so slight underdog, and a 4-leg parlay that comes together at plus 412. You know what I'm talking about? I'd rather put those 4 legs together and roll the dice at plus 412 than put the other 4 legs together. You know what I mean? Like, I'd rather put Abdul, Nursultan, Nikolai, and Andre together for 4 legs at plus 412 than put Abdul, Nursultan, Javid, and where's he at? I'm tripping. Javid and Modestus as my 3rd and 4th, because that comes together at plus 173 type shit. You know what I mean? 4 legs at plus 173 that'll stress, 2 of them will stress me out, or 4 legs at plus 412 where the risk and reward is there, in my personal opinion. The stress factor, not so much so. And, if I lose, that's just how it goes. It's how the ball bounces and the cookie crumbles, man. You know what I mean? Maybe me liking Nikolai and liking Andre, is the wrong way to go. But to be determined. If I was to add in Modestus and Javid for 6 legs, it would be 6 legs at plus 847. But me personally, I can't do that. You know what I'm talking about? So let's take Nikolai and let's take motherfucking Andre out of there. Let's toss Ebo in there, if y'all are all right with Ebo. And that's 3 legs at plus 128. You know what I'm saying? If you feel like that's a solid place to start from, if you like Ebo and you think Ebo is going to get it done, I believe he's 14-1 with all 14 knockouts. Ion Kutalaba's only been knocked out 3 times in his career. And, it would not be, he likes to wrestle, he likes to grapple, he likes to implement that part of the game. So it wouldn't be surprising or outside the realm of possibility to think that Ion could possibly come out here and do Ebo like Salsa Boy and Austin Lane did Robellis to Spain type shit and just drag it the fuck out. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. If you like them 3 legs, they come together at plus 182. You can swap out Ebo for Ion, and them 3 legs come together at plus 266. But we'll say them swap outs for just a minute, man. Boy, oh boy. For me, it's those 4 legs, which is crazy because if I'm being honest with you, down here on the prelims, we're gonna stay with these favorites real quick. Because down here on the prelims, man, I like a dog more than I like these favorites, man. You know what I'm talking about? Let's put Ebo and Nikolai in there, cause I mean these is my picks, and I can get behind that shit. Abdul, Nursultan, Nikolai, Ebo, 4 legs at plus 309, and we toss in Andre, and that's 5 legs at plus 693. That's my youngest. She just got home from school, and she ain't got the patience for the bullshit that these dogs is trying to do right now. Don't mind that. Yeah, Abdul, Nursultan, Nikolai, Ebo, and Andre. That is 5 legs at plus 693. You know what I'm talking about? And I personally like how I fell as an underdog, man. And I probably would rock with these prelims just like this, and then do a swap out between Javid and Ricky. Because while Javid is my pick, I cannot deny that pick is the pick that makes me nervous as shit. Like, I'm more nervous about any fight, any prediction, any call, anything Like, this is the one I'm more nervous about than anything right here, Javid Basharat. I'm not high on the Basharat brothers, you know. Solid, well-rounded. How well is that takedown defense going to hold up against Ricky, though? Ricky is going to apply that pressure. I get it. One might think that Ricky's not the same Ricky that he used to be because he came into the UFC and submitted Merab Dvalishvili and beat Montel Jackson. Two individuals that really just have not lost since. Weren't really used to losing before. He submitted Merab. He beat Montel via decision. You know, his resume is, respectable for what it's worth. He's by far faced the higher level of opposition. And if I'm being honest with myself and honest with y'all, I think both Mario Bautista and Vinicius Oliveira hand Javid Basharat another loss, much like Amin Zahabi just did. And he no contest drawed out or whatever with Victor Henry. You know what I mean? Nothing prior to that, the Tony Gravely's and them, nothing about that is impressive. Ricky's been in there with the best, you know what I'm talking about? And the fact that Mario Bautista and Vinicius were able to, beat him via decision by stuffing the majority of the incoming takedowns and producing a better body of work over the course of 15 minutes, on the feet, that doesn't move me to really believe that Javid's going to be able to do the same thing. I really wanted to pick switch on this one this week too, but I'm just going to let this one rock and see where it's at. I'm going to, properly prepare for being on the wrong side of it as far as parlay placement is concerned because Ricky's at home too. Like, this is in Seattle, Washington, if I'm not mistaken. Ricky lives in Washington. He's a Washington boy. He's going to be in his backyard, his hometown. He's going to have all that steam. He's going to, how many individuals have we seen in the last 6 months, 12 months that have, were veterans? For what it's worth, Ricky's a veteran, man. He's been around for a minute. Double-digit fights inside the UFC. The kid's a vet, regardless of how anybody feels about it. You know what I'm talking about? And, how many times have we seen these crafty UFC veterans that have just been in there with the higher level of opposition that we have seen are on a skid as of lately, but it's due to the level of opposition that they've been competing against and that they're, currently competing against. Then they give them one of these, prospects or one of these individuals that's on the come up, and we make the individual on the come up a significant favorite and a veteran and underdog, and more times than not, much like a Jared Cannonier. I said that one. Jared Cannonier via KO, TKO, cover your back door, man. It's plus 310. Drop something on it because, Gregory Rodriguez has been put in compromisable positions on the feet by a lot lower level of opposition, you know what I mean? So that was a good one. The week before that, Wrong Zoo via decision at plus 900. That covered the back door. A dub on that brought back a $180 to secure our door as far as any parlays that we had Cody wrapped in, because regardless of how I feel about Wrong Zoo and the roller coaster of a road that Wrong Zoo had been on in the UFC, it's still a roller coaster of a road inside the UFC, not out there where Cody had been competing at. And I figured, like, if he spoiled that, it would be by decision. These props to cover our back doors, man. Brendan Allen via submission. Like, Brendan Allen has 7 submissions inside the UFC already. 8 submission victories if we include his Dana White Contender Series showing, and he's a plus 800 to get it done via submission. And on top of that, Fluffy's already been submitted by a lot lower level of opposition in Marcus Perez, in my personal opinion. So to think that Brendan Allen can't choke him the fuck out via submission, you be out of your mind. You know what I mean? I'm going to have something on that. Plus 800 prop for an individual who has 8 submissions inside the UFC already, including his Dana White Contender Series showing, and he's going up against an individual who's already been submitted by a lot lower level of opposition. You know what I'm talking about? Like, there are certain props on here. Ricky Simone via decision. You know what I mean? Let me see what that is real quick while I'm talking my shit, because I'm going to tap back in for the prop parlays and all that. Come on, man. Take me to it. Take me to it, man. Don't play with me. Got 27 bets. Let me see them. Put me in that method section. This jank tweaking right now. Let me refresh this jank, because this jank tweaking the fuck out right now, man. Come on, man. Let me see what this boy Ricky, because I'm going to have to put something light on that. I ain't even going to hold you. It's not trying to let me see what it is right now. It's playing dirty. I don't know why, but I don't got time to fuck with it. When I tap back in for these for this prop parlay video, we'll talk about what Ricky's gonna be. Ah, damn, now this bitch don't want position right, do it. That's what happens when you move something. Now it's all fucked up. Yeah, man. When I see what that Ricky via submission is, we'll talk about that, man. But Abdul, Nursultan, Nikolai, Ebo, Andre, and Hafel at plus 2439. That's 2,439. You could put $6 on that six-legger and hit for $146.33. You know what I'm talking about? $152.33 altogether, getting your $6 investment back. If you just wanted to roll the dice with me one time and see where they lay, pull $6 out your fifth pocket, man. You was ready to go get something to drink. You was ready to go get a roll up. You was ready to go get something with that $6 that you can put it right there, and it might bring you back $1.46 and some change for $152 come back off $60. $6 getting your $6 investment back. That's how I like the prelims to go. I'm probably gonna put 30 on that. I ain't gonna hold you. Maybe 20. I say 30 because it's 6 legs, $5 a motherfucking head. You know what I mean? For a $30 investment on 6-leg parlay, that would bring me back $731.65. So 701, $731.65. It'll give me $761.65 back with my $30 back. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna hold you. That's probably what I'm gonna do, but that's just me. That's the degenerate in me, and that's because those are my picks. That one ever so slight dog at minus 107, Andre, the plus 220 dog in Hafel. You know, bring it to this. That is what brings it to this plus money number of 2439. So I'm gonna have action on that. Rightfully so. That's the way I would like to see the prelims go. You know what I mean? That's me though. Then 7 legs at plus 33.78. That would be Javid Basharat. You know what I mean? So if you wanted to roll the dice with me on that, you know, it's going to be a swap out. So you're going to have to put $20 into this right here. You know what I mean? $6 on those 6 legs to bring you back 146, right? That's $6. Then another 14 because we're going to take $7 and put it on this 7-legger with Javid Basharat as our 7th leg to bring us back $236.47. Then we're going to swap out Javid for Ricky Simone, rightfully so, and drop that other $7 and put that on the 7 legs at plus 78.97. If that don't just ring the degenerate engines bell, you know what I'm talking about? 7 legs at plus 78.97. All those 7s in there, I put $7 on it and get $552.81 back. You know what I mean? $559.81 with my $7 investment back. So that's me. That's how I would like to see the prelims go. And if you want to roll the dice with me one time, 1 week, just to see, you know, where the fucking dice lay, go get a dub. Go get a dub for the prelims. We're going to do something up on the main card. Then we're going to do something down on the whole card. And while it's not the same that I'm going to be investing, because I'm going to be investing a little bit heavier, you know what I mean? If you pull a little 50, a little half a man, maybe $60 out your pocket and roll some light dice, the way I'm rolling them on Saturday night, if shit comes together, you can see some significant payouts off that little half a man $60 by rocking with me this week. And if not, you know, it's a little half a man $60 gone, and I'm sure whatever play you put together yourself and go heavy on will bring that back, plus what you invested in that heavy play. You know what I mean? As far as zoning in, no underdogs, finding your favorites that you motherfucking like, your most confident picks, and dropping something on them. go ahead and do that. Do what you do. But if you want to rock with me too, something light, nothing major. Take a dub out your pocket for these prelims and drop $6 on 6 legs at plus 24.39. And them 6 legs are Abdul, Nurse Sultan, Nikolai, Ebo, Andre, and Hafel. And that $6 will get you back 146.33. Plus your $6 investment is 152.33. All right. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add a 7th leg, Javid, and we're going to put $7 on that for 236.47 back. You know what I'm talking about? 243.47 with the $7 investment back. But then we're going to swap out Javid and toss in Ricky as the 7th leg at plus 78.97. And that $7 will bring back, you know, 552.81, 559.81, which is $7 investment back. So, you know, as long as the 6 legs do what they need to do, it's, you know, Abdul, Nurse Sultan, Nikolai, Ebo, Andre, and Hafel, then one of those 7 legs is going to come through as well. You know what I mean? So you hit for 146, and then you'll hit for motherfucking, you know, 2 something or 5 something. Because if the 6-legger smacks, then one of those 7 legs is guaranteed to smack. You know what I'm talking about? But that's just me. That's how I'd like to see the things, you know, see things shake out on the prelims. And if you want to rock with me, you know what I'm talking about? Pull a dub out. Drop 6 on that, 7 on that, swap out and 7 on that, and see where the motherfucking dice lay, man. You know what I mean? Most confident picks down here on the prelims. For me, they are Abdul. They are Nurse Sultan. And I would have to say Andre, Nikolai, at plus 412. Like, I want to toss Ebo in there. I really want to put Hafel in there, but I know nobody wants to hear about your most confident picks and then a plus 220 up in that shit. It makes individuals very uncomfortable, and so it is what it is, man. These 4 at plus 412 are my most confident 4 as far as these favorites are concerned on the main card. If you want to go heavy on that, those favorites, then go heavy on those favorites to secure that bag. If you don't like Andre and you don't like Nikolai, you want to stay away from the UFC debuts, but you like Ebo, you know what I'm talking about? And, you know, if you like Javid, that's 213. If you like Modestus, it's 5 legs at plus 323. You know, you find what you like down here on the prelims, and you go heavy on that to secure a prelim bag. And then if you want to rock with me, rock with me. If not, it's all good. Now, up on the main card, man, you know what I mean? Let's talk about it real quick. For me, my most confident pick up there, Gene Silver. You know what I'm talking about? That's minus 165. You can give me Gene and Gene if we keeping it funky, and that's minus 113. You know, where are we going after that? Because in my personal opinion, everything after that deserves a swap out, man. Like, if you like Sung Yadong, that's plus 155. Gene and Sung is plus 155. Gene Sung and Fluffy is plus 226. And Alonzo Metafield, if you think it's going to be a clean sweep, all 5 favorites on the main card, there they go. 5 favorites at plus 359. You know what I'm talking about? It is what it is. If you're unsure about Gene, and you think Rob's going to be the one dog to bark up on the main card, that is 5 legs at plus 562, and I am pretty sure that fine-tunes the degenerate engine in you. You know what I mean? 5 legs coming together in a 5-leg parlay at plus 562, 4 favorites and 1 slight dog. It is what it is. That's what it looks like if you expect Rob to bark and all the rest of the favorites to fall in place, man. Alonzo Metafield at minus 245, Anthony Hernandez at minus 360, Gene Silva at minus 560, and Sung Yadong at minus 295. Capped off with Rob Font's dog tag of plus 132, gives you 5 legs on the main card at plus 562. That's a way to go about it. Let's go ahead and get that up out of there real quick. If this thing goes the way I would like it to go, then, you know, Give me Gene, and Julius. 3 legs at plus 451. I don't know what I'm going to do with that. You know what I mean? Maybe a dub. Just a little dub on that motherfucker to get 100 back or something. It's a main card play. I'm already going to have my prelim plays. There's only 5 fights up here. You know, maybe I'll do a little dub on it. Maybe I'll do 30 on it. You know what I mean? Maybe I'll toss 30 on that motherfucker. To be determined, man. You know what I mean? Take Julius out of there. Gene, and Henry. That's 3 legs at plus 517. Now that I really like. You know what I'm talking about? I'll probably just toss 30 on it. $10 a man. You know what I mean? Bring me back 155 and 23 cents. 185 and 23 cents with my $30 investment back. You know what I'm talking about? And I'll probably just leave that one like that. You know what I'm saying? Because I like Henry to get it done. Unfortunately for the Kung Fu Kid, it's all in his name. He does his best work on the feet in the striking department. He's solid. He's well-rounded. He likes to use his wrestling credentials and his, grappling abilities to keep the fight upright. But those are the type of individuals that Henry Cejudo produces his best body of work against. He gets him worrying about the takedowns. He catches him with the overhand. He gets the takedowns. He locks him up. He secures him. It is what it is, man. It's my personal opinion, but I like that little 1-2. Now, I know people are nervous about Gene going against Rob Font, and I can dig it. I picked Rob to beat Kyler. I picked Rob to beat Adrian Yanez, man. I believed Rob to be a very bad stylistic matchup for those two individuals, the same way I believe Gene to be a very bad stylistic matchup for Rob. I think Gene's going to make this one, with all due respect to Rob, he's going to make this fight look like Gabriel Santos made the Gabriel Santos versus Jack Jenkins fight look. Like, he's going to get Rob up out of there. I'm calling round 2 submission, but I wouldn't be surprised if he caught, clipped, and disconnected him from his consciousness for the first time. Durability has an expiration date. That is a proven fucking fact. If all you are banking on is Rob Font's durability, the fact that he might be winning the fight until he's not, you know what I mean? Or he's going to weather a motherfucking storm and then, fight his way back as he's done in the past, I can't bank on that because durability has an expiration date. And it just is what it is. I think Gene's going to mix it up. He's going to stay undefeated. He's not championship status. He doesn't have an extremely high ceiling in the UFC, but I think he passes this test. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Rob Font just proves to be the Christian Rodriguez to these prospects in this division at this level. You know what I'm saying? And I'm okay with that. If I found myself on the wrong side of this one, I found myself on the right side of Rob as significant dogs. You know what I mean? Plus 410s, plus 390s, plus 375s, plus 350s type shit wrapped up in multiple parlays that night. So I'm not mad if he cashes as a dog, man. He got the Baldini going too. You know what I'm saying? The bald head. Salute to him. But people are nervous about that. A lot of people are high on Fluffy. So, Fluffy and Gene Silva come together at minus 200. Alonzo Menafield gives you 3 legs at plus 113. 4 legs at plus 185 if you're liking Sung Yadong. Let's, I think Brendan Allen, I'm going to have a play on him via submission at plus 800. I think he's deserving of that sprinkle by all degenerates. Henry, Gene, and Julius, 4 legs at plus 1691. I'm going to have something light on that because probably $5 a head for $20. You know what I'm talking about? Because that's the way I'd like to see the night go. Then I'll have Fluffy for 5 legs at plus 2192, and I will swap out Fluffy for 5 legs at plus 6525. You know what I'm talking about? So what we have here is 4 legs for me anyway. You know what I mean? You can pull the dub out, just like the dub on the prelims. You can pull the dub out here on the main card if you want to rock with it one time. And you can take Henry Cejudo, Gene Silva, Gene Matsumoto, and Julius Walker. Henry, Gene, and Julius. 4 legs at plus 1691. You know what I'm talking about? And you could just go ahead and drop $10 on that. It's going to bring you back 169.06, 179.06 in total with your $10 investment back. You know what I mean? Then we can add a 5th leg, and we'll put Fluffy on there as the 5th leg. And you can put $5 on those 5 legs, just $1 a man. And those $5 will bring you back $109.60, $114.59 with your $5 investment back. You understand what I'm saying to you? Or you swap out Fluffy for Brendan, rightfully so. Keep $5 on it, and that $5 legs is at plus 65.25, and it comes together at $326.25 back, $331.25 with your $5 investment back. So 4 legs at plus 1691, $10. It'll get you back, you know, a little $1.60. $5, you know, put $10 on that, $1.69. You know what I mean? And then take your $5 and put it on these 5 legs. Add Fluffy, and that's motherfucking, you know, you'll get your little $1.09 back. Then you swap out Fluffy for Brendan and put $5 on that, and you get back $326.25. So as long as Henry, Gene, and Julius show up and get it done for me, those 4 legs come through. Then that means one of these 5-leggers are gonna come through. And if you wanna rock with me and roll the dice and see where they lay, it costs you $20 to play, man. You know what I mean? I'm never going to ask you to motherfucking invest anything too crazy that'll hurt you in any way, shape, form, or fashion. As you can see, if you want to, you know, sprinkle on these degenerate plays, you can do so with 5th pocket change, man. Milk money. You know what I mean? I don't even want to say that. No, I don't even want to say milk money. Hey, milk and eggs, prices is through the roof with these motherfucking dairy products, man. So let me go ahead and pull that back. Let me pull that back real quick. You know what I mean? Like a little dub, just a dub. To each their own for what it's worth. A dub on the prelims for the 6-legger and the 2 7-leggers. You know what I mean? $6 on the 6-legger, $7 on the 7-legger. Swap out the 7th leg, $7 on another 7-legger. The 6 legs hit, that hits, and one of the 7-leggers hits. Cost you a dub to see, you know, how my degenerate shit's gonna fall out, shake out on Saturday. A dub up on the main card, 4 legs, put $10 on it. It's gonna bring you back about $1.10. Then you put the 5th leg on, you know what I mean? Put $5 on that. It's going to bring you back $1 and some change. You swap out for the other 5th leg, put $5 on that. It's going to bring you back 3 and some change. So as long as the 4 hit, one of those 5's going to hit. You understand what I'm saying to you? And it don't cost you a whole lot to roll them dice and see where they lay, man. If you want to fuck with any of my degenerate plays, man. You know what I'm talking about? For this whole card, let's talk about these favorites first before we gonna make anybody nervous with underdog picks. Let's talk about these favorites, Chris. So, for this whole card, let's start with Abdul, right? Let's not start with Abdul. Let's start with Gene Silva, because fuck what the money line suggests. That's my most confident pick on the card. Gene Matsumoto, I meant to say. And then let's go to Gene Silva. Because when we're talking about favorites, my most confident aren't necessarily what the money line might be suggesting. You understand what I'm saying to you? And then let's go on to Nurse Sultan. My top 3 when we're talking these favorites is going to have to be Gene, and Nurse Sultan. Gene M, Gene S, and Nurse Sultan. You know what I'm talking about? I can't fuck with Javid, and I cannot fuck with Modestus. What I can do is come over here to Abdul now. We have 4 legs at minus 180. All right? I cannot fuck with Fluffy. I cannot fuck with Elonzo. I cannot fuck with Modestus or Javid. So for me, this is for me. You know what I mean? And then I'm going to put something together with all of those individuals that I just don't necessarily want to deal with for y'all. You know what I mean? So, Go Ebo. We'll go Andre. And we'll go Nikolai. But hold on, let me run that back for y'all real quick. Let me take Nikolai and Andre out of there. So going from Jean, Nurse Sultan, Abdul, adding Ebo as the fifth leg, is it plus 334. I want to break it down like this. That way you can tap out wherever you start to feel uncomfortable. You know what I mean? Like if you're good with Gene M, Gene S, and Nurse Sultan, you're good with Abdul and Ebo, them five come together at plus 334. You know what I'm talking about? And then I might have to go to Andre before Nikolai. So those six come together at plus 742. All right? So now I'm going to come on down here to Nikolai. And those seven come together at plus 1407. And for me, from here, for these full card parlays, everything is a dog play after this. Like I'll lock in these 7 legs. It's 7 legs, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'll lock in these 7 legs at plus 1407. It's 7 legs. I'll probably do something stupid like, you know, $35 on it. You know what I mean? 7 legs, $5 a man type shit. $35 gets me $492.55, $527.54 with my $35 investment back type shit. You know what I'm talking about? And then everything after that can be light sprinkles because it's going to be crazy plus money numbers. It's all hot. It's all swap outs for me. You know what I'm talking about? That 8th leg, it's just a bunch of, you know, it's swap outs. Like me, that 8th leg, I'd like that late 8th leg to be high fell. And then that comes together at plus 47.23. But if you swap out high fell for Modestus, it's 1935. I would like to see Ricky cash at home as a dog at plus 46.48. But when I swap out Ricky for Javid, it's plus 1965. You know what I'm talking about? I'd like to see Julius cash as a dog at plus 42.71. But when I swap out Julius for Alonzo, it's plus 20.25. It's the year we're living in. Maybe that's trying to tell me something. I'd like to see motherfucking Brendan cash as a dog at plus 270 to kick it to plus 54.77. But when I swap out Brendan for Fluffy, it's plus 18.29. You know what I mean? I'd like to see Cejudo in the main event get it done at plus 47.99. But if I swap him out for Song, it's plus 19.20. You understand what I'm saying to you? So for me, for the full card, it's Gene, Nurse Sultan, Abdul, Ebo, Andre, and Nikolai. And then it's all swap out options. If I'm keeping it funky with you, my Hail Mary for this whole card, y'all should already know. Haffel's in there. You know what I'm talking about? Julius is in there. Henry Cejudo's in there. And that's my 10 legs right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yep, that's my 10 legs right there at plus 45,359. $5, man. $5 will bring you back 2,200 and some change. It's a degenerate play. It's 10 fucking legs, man. It's a Hail Mary. It doesn't deserve anything more than $5. And then when I'm on the app for all 12 of them, now we got to start talking real spicy shit because I'll throw Javid as an 11th leg at plus 62,179. Then I'll swap out Javid for Ricky at plus 143,097. Crazy numbers. You start just putting $2 on them and you're getting thousands of fucking dollars. They're degenerate plays. I do these degenerate plays every fucking time because it's absolutely necessary. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, the same thing up there with Anthony Hernandez. Fluffy brings it to plus 58,088. And the swap out for Brendan Allen brings it to 168,100. You know what I'm talking about? Like, it's 12 legs. I can put $2 on it. It's going to bring me back 3,300 and some change if it hits. It's a haymaker. It's a Hail Mary. It's not supposed to hit. But if it does, Boy, oh boy, because when they do, when them prelims, them main cards, them whole cards, them haymakers, them Hail Marys, and them dog plays all smack in one night, oh my God, them payouts are fucking ridiculous. And that's why I do this shit. You know what I'm talking about? Because those payouts outweigh by so much any of these little sprinkles that I invest into these cards, man. You know what I mean? And the reason I go at these cards the way I go at these cards, prelims, main card, whole card, dog plays, all favorites, swap out options, and everything in between, and put these little $5, $6, $2, $8, $10 sprinkles, you know, that's the reason I'm able to motherfucking hit in some way, shape, form, or fashion. I'm able to cash a ticket or tickets on just about every event. You know what I'm talking about? We've had 5 so far this year, 3 of them, whether it was one ticket or tickets, have been cashed on. You know what I'm talking about? 42 events last year, or 40, however many it was. I gotta look at my joint, 31 of them. We cashed either a ticket or tickets on in some way, shape, form, or fashion, whether it was just getting our money back in something light, or it was, you know, something light hitting for something nice, or it was just something crazy and significant, ridiculous payouts, like when we hit the 7-fight sweep on the prelims with 3 dogs at plus 290, plus 180, and plus 130, wrapped with 4 favorites for a crazy motherfucking obliteration of the prelims, and then some whole card parlays that hit. Nights like that, when you're racking in thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars off of just a few bucks, you can never be mad. You know what I mean? When somebody fumbles the bag and you lose a few bucks. You should never have to go into your motherfucking personal funds, man, for this shit. Because when you smack, you smack. And that should go in the degenerate kitty, man. You know what I mean? You should take a portion of that and put that in the degenerate kitty, and the portion of that, put that where you gonna put it up at, man. And then all your bets need to be coming out of that degenerate kitty, not out of your motherfucking savings, your checkings, your motherfucking stash in the crib, none of that, man. You degenerate kitty. You take a certain portion of these winnings every time and put them to the side, you know, for future fucking fight cards, man. You shouldn't be winning on these motherfuckers and then having to dig in your motherfucking savings or checkings or any motherfucking where else to place bets on the next card, man. Like, that bread should just be accumulating. You shouldn't be overly investing into all these fucking cards that are riddled with prospects. Never overly invest in prospects anyway. You know what I'm talking about? Never overly invest, man. As you can see, when we go through this shit, you don't have to. Unless you're trying to break the fucking bank. And for the most part, when you're trying to obliterate the motherfucking bank, something backfires, man. And you miss everything by 1. You know what I mean? 5 for 6, 6 for 7, 7 for 8, 8 for 9, 9 for 10, all the way up to 14 out of 15 type shit. You feel me? It is what it is, man. When you can put $6 on a 6-leg and it's going to bring you back over 100 motherfucking odds, and you can put $7 on a 7-legger that's going to possibly bring you back over 100, or the swap out's going to bring you over 300. Why are you out here trying to put $100 on that parlay? It's no need to. You trying to hit for $37,000. You know what I mean? Like, you trying to obliterate these motherfuckers every time, and it's not going to happen, man. You know what I mean? It's not going to happen. More times than not, you will find yourself on the shitty end of that one. You know what I'm talking about? But it is what it is, man. My bad for hopping off topic. It's just why I go about these things and all these different variations of these parlays the way I do. Because, just like I said, all favorite swap out options, I have those too. You know what I mean? When we talking about Abdul, I have Abdul with Nurse Sultan, with Javid, you know, with motherfucking Ebo, with Alonzo, with Gene Silva, with Anthony Hernandez. You understand what I'm saying to you? I got one in there with Sung Yadong. Yeah, that's the 8-legger right there. That's it right there. And that's plus 793. You know what I mean? So I have something on that. You know what I'm talking about? And I've motherfucking taken, you know, Javid out. And then added motherfucking, you know, Modestus in and did something with those 8 legs like that at plus 780. I've done Javid and Modestus in one. You know what I'm talking about? I've done the all favorites. Then I'll, you know what I mean, for the numbers that they come to. And that's what I'll, you know, drop a little heavier on. And rightfully so, because the numbers aren't as ridiculous plus money numbers. I can't put light little sprinkles. I gotta put a quarter. half a man, a little 25, 30, a little 40, a little 50. You know what I'm talking about? Maybe I find a 2-pack that I really like and I put 100 on it. You know what I mean? Those are the heavy investments. You understand what I'm saying? So and you hope that they come through and do what they need to do to secure those bags for you. You put 100 down to win like 295 back. You know what I mean? You put 50 down to win like a $156 back, man. You know what I'm talking about? You hope that those motherfucking little 2-packs or 3-packs of those significant favorites that you pack together are going to smack. You know what I mean? But it's absolutely necessary to dig into these props and find where you feel as though the bag could most likely be fumbled. When we found Wrong Zoo via decision at plus 900, we knew that was going to be the look. If Cody lost, that's how he was going to lose. That's how he lost. When we found Jared Cannonier at plus 310 via KO/TKO. When we found Nazim, it was his money line or it was his plus money number via KO/TKO. Like, when we find these things, we know Jared Cannonier, man. If he gets him out of there, he's getting him out of there via catching, clipping, and disconnecting from his consciousness. He's going to overwhelm him and hurt him because Gregory's been in there with individuals of a lot lower opposition that have done it to him and put him in compromisable positions on the feet. You know what I mean? Like, when we find these props to cover our back door, man, that's exactly what it's for. And it's absolutely necessary, man. And these dog plays, these swap outs, they're absolutely necessary. As we've seen many a times over, it is, more times than not, one of these more significant favorites that fumbles the bag. You know what I'm talking about? But Javid, Modestus, Ebo, Nikolai, Abdul, Alonzo. Now, this is what everybody's behind. So if y'all are with this, then this is for y'all. Anthony, Gene, what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 legs at plus 1511. And you can put Song Yadong as your main event, and that's 10 legs at plus 2059. You know what I'm talking about? The money line suggests that this is the way things should go. I stayed away from Rob and Matsumoto because they're more closely lined. I stayed away from Andre and Costa because they're more closely lined. You know what I'm talking about? I honestly could have stayed from off. Like, we could do 8 legs staying away from Nikolai and Ebo, and that's 8 legs at plus 678. If you're looking for safe plays, if you're looking what most believe to be safe plays, I believe most of the UFC prediction individuals have picked just about all the same fighters that I have picked, with the exception of my dogs. You know what I'm talking about? So I'm not including, you know, Hafel. I went against him for y'all with Modestus. I'm not including Henry. I went against him for y'all with Cejudo. I'm not including Julius. I went against him for y'all with Alonzo. I'm leaving Rob and Gene alone because that's controversial. It's one of the most talked about fights of the week. There's a lot of question marks. I'm leaving Austin and Nikolai alone because it's a late, you know, replacement, late add-on to the motherfucking card, short notice, both sides type shit. There's a lot of questions. I'm leaving Ion and Ebo out because, you know, the money line suggests that this is, you know, a bit up in the air as far as how motherfuckers feel. And we got Andre and Costa, and I know that's a bit up in the air as far as how people feel. So these 8 legs, if I'm not mistaken, that's what that is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is 8 legs for y'all. All 8 favorites that come together at plus 678. This is what the other prediction individuals suggest should happen. This is what the money line suggests should happen. This is what most of y'all seem to be comfortable with the outcome being. So there y'all go. Now, a lot of people were also on Ebo and Andre. Now that's 10 legs for you at plus 2239. You know what I mean? And that's 10 legs that, as the money line suggests, the night should go. And as most of these other prediction channel individuals suggest, the night should go as well. You know what I mean? But this is a night where absolutely no dogs bark or bite. Not in the main, not in the co-main, not in the co-co-main. Not in the main card opener, not in the prelim headliner. Not in the first fight of the night. Not in any of these more significantly priced fights. And, I mean, if I'm not mistaken, most of everybody that the prediction channel tracked was on Nikolai too. And regardless of how the conversations have been, it seems that a lot of the people are on Gene Matsumoto as well. So that's 12 legs. All 12 fighters. All 12, matter of fact, I'm wrong. That's 12 legs, all 11 favorites, one ever so slight dog in Andre Philly to come together at plus 66.42. So you know what $10 you get. But if you like them 12 legs, you can put $1 a man on them 12 legs for $12. That'll bring you back $797.02, $809.02, with your $12 investment back. You know what I mean? You can put 50 cents a man on that motherfucker, put $6 on it. It's going to bring you back $398.51, $404.51, which is $6 investment back. So it's a haymaker. It's a Hail Mary, not a haymaker. A haymaker for me is up to the 7th leg. 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, and on. Those are fucking Hail Marys. You know what I'm talking about? You got prelims, 2 packs, 3 packs, 4 packs. You know what I mean? You start talking about 5, 6, and 7. Those are haymakers, man. You start talking about 8, 9, and so on. Those are fucking Hail Marys. You know what I'm talking about? So they do not deserve anything significant, and as you can see, they do not require anything significant for you to hit something significant. That's what that whole card looks like with all those favorites, and no dogs barking or biting, though. You know what I'm talking about? I'm going to get up out of here before this 60 minutes kicks and before my phone crashes out, because I done already seen the 20%, 10%, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, when it kicks in for 5%, it's going to kick me the fuck off and stop. You know what I mean? I've been there before. But check it out, man. As far as these favorites are concerned, let's stay away from the last fight of the night. If I operate by my shit, there's no women's MMA. There's no heavyweight MMA. We have UFC debuters, so we stay away from that. Individuals over the minus 500 money line, so we stay away from that. First fight of the night, last fight of the night, we stay away from that. Any fight that presents too many questions, I'm going to stay away from that. So for me, Gene Matsumoto at minus 165. Henry and Song are in the main event. Gene's a minus 560, so that's over the minus 500. I cannot confidently pick Fluffy or Brendan. Mansour Abdul Malik is minus 1,000. That's over the minus 500. Austin and Nikolai are both making their UFC debuts. Javid Basharat and Ricky Simone have absolutely too many question marks on them. Nursultan Razibov and Eric McConaughey seem to be lined up as the first fight of the night, so I must stay away from that. That leaves me with Andre Philly at minus 107. Now I have 2 legs at plus 212. I really like them 2 legs. I'm going to put half a man on each one. $50 a man for a $100 parlay. You know what I'm talking about? That's going to be one of my main plays. Staying away from the main event, staying away from the first fight of the night, the last fight of the night, women's MMA, heavyweight MMA, individuals making their UFC debut, individuals over the minus 500 money line are just ridiculously priced for no good reasoning, and any fights that I have question marks on from one side or the other, these 2 I personally love, but that's just me. And you know, I put $100 on it to get $212.34 back, $312.34 back with my $100 investment. You know what I'm talking about? But that's not going to be my only main play. I like Andre, and I like Gene. All right? Nursultan's the first fight of the night. I can't rock with Ricky or Javid. That would be a dog or a pass as far as a main, parlays. I picked Javid, but I told you how I feel about that fucking pick. I like how I fell, man. I like how I fell as a dog. Julius Walker is making his UFC debut against Alonzo Menafield, so it doesn't matter who I like. Nikolai and Nikolai are making their UFC debut. Javita, listen, that's it for me right there. My main plays. I'm going to have 2 legs at plus 212, and that is going to be Gene Silva and Andre Philly. And then I'm going to have 3 legs at plus 899, and that is going to be Gene Matsumoto. I'm sorry if I said Silva. I'm sorry. Gene Matsumoto, Andre Philly, and Hafel, I don't know how you say Hafel's name, the Lion. You know what I'm talking about? So Gene, Dre, and the Lion at plus 899. And if we being honest with each other, I'm going to drop a half a man on that. I'm going to drop a half a man on that, man. You know what I mean? Because I normally will take about $200 in confident plays. You know what I mean? Make like a $100 bet, maybe a $50 bet, and another $50 bet, or a $100 bet, a $50 bet, 2 $25 bets. And that'll be my $200 investment into my main plays. You know what I'm talking about? Then I'll start doing my little sprinkles. A little 30 here, a little 20 there, and then 10, 6, 5, 8, 7, and all that kind of shit. You know, $1 per leg, because the numbers, I'm going to get over 100. $6 is going to get me over 100 on 6 legs. $7 is going to get me over, and I'm not greedy. That's all I need. You going to give me over 100 off of $6, over 100 off of 7 or 8 or 9 bucks. I'm taking that shit off, and sometimes it's multiple hundreds. Sometimes it's up to 1,000, depending on how they go crazy that night. You know what I'm talking about? So it is what it is, man. A little half a man's probably going to go on that right there. Maybe I just do $10 a leg. I'll do $30 on that motherfucker, because I'm already doing 100 on the 2-legger. You know what I mean? And that's going to bring me back 200 and some change, 300 and some change, plus my $100, even my $100 investment. You know what I mean? If I drop 30 on this, I'm getting $269.85. I don't need to drop 50 on it. You know what I mean? I can drop $10 a man, 3 legs. The same way I got 2 legs, I'm doing $50 a motherfucking leg. For a $100 parlay on 2 legs, I can do $10 a leg for $3 for a 3-leg, $30 on a 3-leg parlay for the $269 back. I don't got to be greedy. You know what I'm talking about? Because then what I'll do is I'll probably take, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take Ebo at minus 182 as my 4th leg, and the other half of that 50, I'm just going to put $5 a man and put 20 on that. You know what I'm talking about? And that brings back 289.94. You feel me? So that's what 150 of my 200 big investments going to look like. 100 on Gene Matsumoto and Andre Philly at plus 212. You know what I'm talking about? And then 30 on Gene, Andre, and Hafel at plus 899. And then 20 on Gene, Andre, Hafel, and Ebo at plus 1449. You know what I mean? And then I'll go ahead and I'll get that out of there. And I'm going to find 5 favorites and drop half a man on them. And hopefully it all come together, right? I'll take Nurse Sultan. You know what I'm talking about? I'll take Gene Matsumoto, Gene Silva, Abdul, and Andre. You know what I mean? And that's plus 443. Do I do a half a man on that, or do I do 25? Because it's going to bring me over 100. I just do 25 and get back $110.81. And then I save this 25. I'm going to come here, and I'm going to take Gene Matsumoto out, just because I have him in almost everything. You know what I mean? And I'm going to come up here and put Ebo in. And I'm going to throw 25 on that for 105.75 back. And if Gene hit, you know what I mean? If Gene's good, like I expect him to be good on everything, then both of those hit. You feel me? Nurse Sultan, Gene, Abdul, and Dre, 25 on that 5. And then Nurse Sultan, Gene, Abdul, Dre, and Ebo, 25 on that 5. After I drop 50 on, 30 on the 3, 20 on the 4, and 100 on the 2. That's going to be my big $200 investment right there for y'all. So y'all are going to know how things shake out for me as far as my main plays go. I just told y'all. You know what I mean? Big one is, I got a yard on Gene Matsumoto and Andre Philly. Then I got 30 on those two with Hafel, 20 on those three with Ebo. You know what I mean? Then I do the 25 on the 5-pack, and then the 25 on the 5-pack where I take Gene out and put Ebo in. That's my big investment. And then we've already gone over some of my $20 and $30 sprinkles that are going to be going on, as well as, you know, what you can put 6 and 7 and 7 and 8 and 10 on. You know what I mean? Dollar a leg type shit. We're going over some haymakers and some Hail Marys, man. I'll be back, you know, shortly to talk about some prop options as far as securing back doors. How I feel as though if some of these individuals fumble the bag, what the most likely outcome is going to be to cause that fumble. You feel me? And hopefully, you know, we can continue to cash tickets, man. Whether it's on our main plays, our degenerate plays, or our securing our back door prop plays. You know what I'm talking about? But it is what it is, man. I appreciate y'all for tapping in. We know what those favorites look like on the prelims. We know what them favorites look like on the main card. We know what them favorites look like for the whole card when we wrap them all up in parlays. We know what they look like when we apply some swap out options, and we know what these dog tags are like next to these names that you know, are deserving of sprinkles, like Ricky Simone. You know, if we being honest, Ayan Kutalaba, Rob Font, Brendan Allen, Henry Cejudo. Like, there's certain individuals on this card that are deserving of a dog play. I didn't mention Julius Walker and I didn't mention Hafel because they're not necessarily deserving of a dog play like a Ricky Simone. He's earned his, you know, he's earned his spot, man. He's deserving of a dog play. You know what I'm talking about? Rob Font, by far the most deserving of a dog play on the whole card. Brendan Allen probably comes in right behind him. Henry Cejudo, like, some of these individuals have just earned, you know, their spot as far as being deserving of a sprinkle when they got a dog tag next to their name. The other ones, to be determined. Julius Walker and Hafel, I like them as dogs, but they haven't earned their spot. They're not deserving of dogs, you know, of sprinkles in any way, shape, form, or fashion unless they're degenerate and you just wants to come out and play. You know what I mean? These other individuals very much so are. Andre Philly as a slight dog, very much so. I went over that because it's not a plus money number there. But that's that with that, man. Y'all know who I like. Y'all know who y'all like. You understand what I'm saying to you? And we know what these individuals look like when they're wrapped up together. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. I appreciate y'all for tapping in, you know, for what it's worth. Best of luck with any and all bets and parlays. I'm going to tap back in a little bit later on with some prop parlays. And, you know, we're going to chop it up about all that, man. Appreciate y'all for tapping in. Peace and blessings.